Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into the safe and loving space. Let's see what the cards have to say as we let the bowl sing. How will Taurus be affected by the September 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. These two. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our root itself. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. If you have, if you have Sagittarius within your natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully as a rooting, grounding energy for you. And then we have the Star, which is Aquarius energy. Again, if you have Aquarius within your natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully as a grounding, rooting force. Then we have the Goddess of Air, Air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. If we're born on the cusp with Gemini, or again, if we have Gemini within our chart, or air sign energy within our chart, that's coming through very powerfully within our inner self. We have Strength, which is equivalent to the Death card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so here, this is Scorpio energy. Again, if we have that within our chart, that's coming through very powerfully within the inner self. Words and truth are going to be so important to us. Like, we don't even understand how much it's going to affect us. Like if people lie, or when we start to kind of like peel back the layers of things, we are going to really be driven by the truth, which is going to be something that's very interesting. So then we have the Three of Cups and the Two of Swords at our heart. The Queen of Pentacles, which is us, we're represented by Pentacles in the Minor Arcana. We're represented by the Hierophant in the Major Arcana, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is a very prosperous time for us, which is also written within the planetary alignment. But there is a real sense of success here, a real sense of power, a real sense of determination and focus and insight and ideas. So let's start talking about this full moon. This full moon happens on the 20th of September, and it is in Pisces. And Pisces says here, balance spirituality and practicality. And we're going to see that theme throughout this whole entire time. Now, with the full moon in Pisces, Pisces is ruled by the planet Neptune. which brings beauty on a spiritual level. I mean, everything to us is going to have the sense of awe and wonderment, all right? But it's going to be less, it's going to be leaning towards the spiritual. It's going to be like, wow, can you believe that the universe makes something so beautiful? Can you believe that there is such, power within the earth, within this world? Or however you experience that spiritual beauty and abundance, that's going to be very powerfully driven by Neptune during this time. And it's going to just be awe-inspiring. Now, this is also a time where Neptune holds sway over our dreams. So our spiritual proclivity towards beauty is going to be shown within our dreams, what we strive for during this time, what we dream about. This is also a time where we'd like to slip away from the troubles of the world. All right, that's part of Neptune also. And so we can have negative coping mechanisms that we've developed when we were younger or we've developed over time. Those coping mechanisms, whether they be addictions or whether they be food soothing or kind of micromanaging how much we eat or how much we exercise or anything like that, those are going to be the soothing mechanisms that we kind of bring forward a little bit more during this time if we're not aware of it. So just be mindful of it. Stay in positive energy. That's going to be so important for us as we are embracing an astoundingly spiritual and compassionate time where we have to be aware of our boundaries because our boundaries are super thin. Our boundaries between us and the practical world, the waking world, are going to be thinner. And so we're not going to have that protection that we really want to have. And since we're earth sign energies, we're already grounded to the earth already. And we have that beautiful, sensual sensitivity of Taurus, of our sign coming forward. So we just have to be mindful of this in a way that maybe people think, oh, well, Taurus, this won't affect you at all. No, it's definitely going to. Now, a full moon always brings us into focus with our family, our friends, and our close relationships. All of a sudden, those things become powerful. Now, at our hearts, we're really going to be looking at the people who betray us. So we're going to have to be mindful about that because we can dive really deeply into things. And so we have to be mindful of how we're dealing with betrayals or hurts or disappointments. Now, because the sun is opposite the moon with a full moon, this brings opposing forces into focus. And this can make it a very energy draining time, but this also makes it very clear for us, our wants versus our needs, what is demanding my time, what I want to be spending my time on. So just be mindful of that during this time. And again, understand that with the full moon, our intuition and emotional awareness is like through the chart. It's reaching its peak. And so here, with it being in Pisces, we are astoundingly connected to the world and to the emotions around us. Now with Mercury trine Jupiter, this is amazingly powerful and in the best possible way because it brings us optimism, generosity, good luck, and good news, which is astounding. We just love that. And our instincts during this time are going to be to clearly see what we want. It's like to clearly see the bigger picture, to say, okay, this is how I'm moving forward. Because we come through as a queen in the public arena, we're definitely going to be utilizing this to our highest extent. Just as we're coming through as the goddess in the inner self, we're going to be utilizing this sense of power and intuition and seeing what we want for the future to really move us forward. And so this is a great time for networking. This is a great time for socializing. This is a great time for opening up the doors and saying, yeah, I can do more. Watch me. And we have to have that faith within ourselves because Mercury squared Pluto is a more difficult influence than Mercury trine Jupiter. So what's going to happen with Mercury squared Pluto is that we dig really deep into everything. We think a lot about things. We can overthink, we can overanalyze, we can really dive into it all. And this is great for work and for research and for discoveries and for innovations. This is fantastic energy, but we're going to bring it into everything. And the kicker is that everybody's going to bring this energy into everything that they're doing. So we can tend to obsess about things. We can tend to dive really deeply into things, really go to the deep end with things. So we have to be mindful about this during this time. We don't want to fall down the rabbit hole too often. When it comes to the self, when it comes to improving the self, when it comes to, embracing our bounty, yes, of course, dive down the rabbit hole. But when it comes to things that can drain our energy vibration, things that can pull us down, things that we don't have control over, that just lower us, we have to be mindful about this during this time because we feel things so intensely. Now with Jupiter semi-sextile Pluto. This is going to help soften the energy of Mercury squared Pluto and align us with the success of Mercury trine Jupiter. If we keep ourselves in that Mercury trine Jupiter energy of optimism, generosity, good luck, and good news, my goodness, do we soar forward? My goodness, do we leave kind of like the nonsense behind? But we can see it, like we get kind of really involved in the gossip of things. Like they have an effect on our hearts. We get really in things that aren't running right. We get really engrossed in it. So we have to kind of pull back when we see Mercury squared Pluto really coming forward. We have to pull back, and especially since our inner selves has the goddess of air and coming forward, that Mercury, that voice, that breath energy is going to be coming forward. We have to be mindful of it during this time. So with Jupiter sextile Pluto, this brings powerful spiritual and personal growth. This also brings us tremendous success and the ability to create wealth and abundance and for professional achievements, because it's helping us to focus on the Mercury trine Jupiter and not the Mercury squared Pluto. So again, the spiritual and the practical, come together. We need to balance them. And this is going to be a challenge, but this is also going to be a real sense of us balancing ourselves and walking forward in that power. Now it moves us to the new moon, which I will be doing a separate reading on all by herself. So the new moon is in Libra, and it says a new romantic cycle begins. And this is going to be a time where we feel balanced by this new romantic cycle coming forward, a time where we kind of open the door to see, how do we move towards what we love? How do we embrace what we love? How do we stay in harmony within ourselves? And it brings us then to the full moon on the 20th of October in Aries. And it says a fiery climax approaches. And as this fiery climax approaches, we start to see ourselves energized. We start to see ourselves determined. We start to see ourselves gaining new focus, new insights, and new understandings. It moves us to the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And this is the Queen of Pentacles, which I'm not surprised of at all. When I was meditating upon the cards and shuffling them before, this is something that I was like, oh, okay, this is going to come up for Taurus. Absolutely. We have to be mindful of getting in our own way. We have to be mindful of kind of self-sabotaging or, not thinking as highly of ourselves as we should, or listening to the wrong energy vibration, thinking, okay, I have to be wrong. I have to move forward in this vibration, or, let other people pull us down. This is a time, Taurus, where we have to build ourselves up. We just have to build ourselves up with power and intensity and focus and insight and ideas, and surround ourselves with positive energy. If that means turning off the news, if that means, stopping talking to certain people, if that means, really getting into our own headspace and, taking herbs or whatever, nerve tonic or whatever it is, those little pistils that dissolve under your tongue, that's what we have to do. We have to raise our energy vibration, lower the chaos within us that we're taking in, and really embrace forward what we want and what we desire. We're going to be very attracted to people who are go-getters, who are achievers. We're also going to have this terrible tendency to compare ourselves to everybody else and say, wow, look what they're doing. Or wow, look how young they were when they succeeded. And look at me and I'm not there. Stop. Stop and be kind to yourself. Please and thank you. It moves us then to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Visualization. This is the third eye chakra. Now, visualization gets a really bad rap because, we have the secret and only thing you have to do is visualize, and then all of a sudden you'll have everything. That's not true. It takes more, but that's a brilliant place to start. So with visualization, one of the reasons why it works so well is that our minds don't know the difference between make-believe and reality, which is scary if you think about it. But when we visualize something, when we visualize being successful, when we visualize being prosperous, when we visualize abundance coming in, we start to send those neural pathways forward. We start to say, I can do this. I can do this. Look at me. I'm doing this. It's kind of like when you do, it's exposure therapy, right? So the first thing when you're doing exposure therapy, let's say you're deathly afraid of spiders. You don't go into, a house of spiders. You see a picture of a spider. You have somebody say, oh, did you see a spider today? And see how you react to it. That's going to be what visualization is like. It's opening up the mind to being able to say, I can do this. And the thing with visualization that we have to be mindful of as we're visualizing is the negative mindset that comes forward or the negative undertone that comes forward that says, yeah, but not you. So if we visualize owning that business, if we visualize, having that house or that relationship or, the kids and whatever that we want or the pets or whatever, and a part of us says, yeah, but not you, we have to listen to that, because that's what's keeping us from visualizing the success and the prosperity. That's what's keeping us afraid of spiders. So being able to hear that voice, being able to connect, being able to visualize whilst meditating or while on a walk, doing something that clears the mind and connects us with our bodies, that's going to be intrinsically important. It moves us then to temperance. It moves us to balance. Now here, we're going to see the tiger and the mouse. We're going to see the big thing and the little thing. And it's the practical world and the spiritual world, and one is going to have a bigger weight for us than the other. We need to be balanced within it. We need to be balanced within ourselves. We need to look at the harmony and the insight and the passion and the power that we want. And with temperance, with balance, we start to say, okay, how is it that I move forward? What is my worth? What is it that I desire? How do these two things come together? How do these two things harmonize? How do I move me forward? And with temperance, we start to see that balance guiding us. We start to see ourselves becoming more and more who we are, what we love, what we desire from our lives. And that moves us to the star, where we start to see what we wish for during this time. Because again, remember, there is Mercury trine Jupiter, which brings us the optimism and the generosity and the good news and the prosperity and the success. And so with the star, this is everything that we wish for. This is everything that our soul loves and wants, and our joyous connection with ourselves. With the star, we open ourselves up to our dreams. With the star, we say, I see where my heart needs to be. I see what my soul desires. I see where I want to stand and what it is that is powerful for me. And as we see this, as we take this forward, as we embrace this, we root ourselves to our dreams, which is part of what visualization does. And we have to be very mindful of talking ourselves out of it, of saying, oh, that's not practical. And, oh, well, that doesn't have a place. Remember, if we're raising our energy vibration, if we're becoming one with ourselves, if we're, moving forward towards happiness and joy, then it matters. And it doesn't matter if somebody sits there and thinks, oh, well, how much money are you going to make with that? Or you should make this into a career instead of just doing this as you're happy. Let yourself be happy and let yourself embrace that happiness. The star brings us closer to our dreams. The star also has divinity see what we need, not necessarily what we want. And so we're going to have opportunities put in our path. We're going to have things moving us forward that gives us what we need. Again, not what we want. And so as we see this coming forward, as we see our path changing, as we see ourselves becoming more and more, we move to the goddess of air. We move to being the weaver of our own web. We move to the person who embraces the breath and the beauty and the insight and the ideas and the story of us. And we're putting it all together like a tapestry. We need to be focused on our lungs. We need to be focused on our breath. We need to be focused on our healing. We need to be focused on our power and our beauty, our intensity, and our determination. This is a time when the goddess of air comes forward and says, I breathe power into you. I breathe beauty and determination and focus into you. Take it. Take it and let yourself move forward with determination. Take it and see your worth. See what you desire. See how the door opens. It moves us then to strength, which is the death card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And it is strength to stand with others. It is strength to know that there's a beginning and there's an ending and there's a story in between. And as we embrace this, as we embrace our path, as we embrace the path of those around us, as we see ourselves more openly and more honestly, as we question, as we are determined, as we're focused, as we're insightful, the doors open. We open. We see us more. We see the world more clearly. We move forward in focus, in insight, and in determined wisdom. Strength comes because we're not alone. And the strength of us on this earth comes because we're not alone. It moves us to our hearts, which is the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups, for me, is always here the person who raises the glass, but doesn't fully celebrate us. It is there and is supposed to celebrate us, but doesn't. And so we carry these wounds with us. We just do. It's this wound of, what was wrong with me? Why couldn't I be? What is it that held me back? What is it that denied me? What is it that they couldn't like about me? Be it these are caregivers, be it these are siblings, be it these be friends or lovers or whomever. Why couldn't they celebrate us? Sometimes it has nothing to do with us. It's their own journey and it's their own road. Some things become tough and people step back and say, okay, I just need to focus on me right now. I just need to focus on my road forward. Others, they don't have the capacity to love, to connect, to build the relationships. That's not them. So do be aware of that. With the Three of Cups, we're looking at our wishes. We're looking at our emotions. And then we're starting to see the people who do stand with us. And it's so funny that, it's kind of like in psychology, they say that a child who is, in trigger warning, but, a child who has an abusive parent or abusive caregiver will try to please that caregiver or parent more than the one who doesn't abuse them. All right. And it seems like, why would you do that? Well, here within our own inner selves, we're going to try and appease that voice that was always disappointed in us, that was always angry with us, that was always, ashamed of us, and not try to align ourselves with the voices that built us up. And we have to look at that emotionally and say, why? Why am I doing this? Why is this weighing me down? And it brings us then to the Two of Swords, where during this time, we can have a tendency, again, we dive deep. During this time, this isn't a time of just like skimming on the surface. We want to dive deep. We want to know everything. And sometimes here, just the recognition of it, just the opening of the eyes and saying, I see you. I see you hurt. I see you pain. I see you disappointment. I get it. Can be enough. And we might not be ready or able to dive deeper than that. And that's not a bad thing at all. It then moves us to the Two of Swords. There's a road that's going to be opening for us that has the mind and the heart coming together. And that starts to have us seeing ourselves more openly, more honestly than before. It starts to have us moving forward towards greatness. Greatness is what is the proper word. And so here, as we move forward towards our greatness, towards our insights, towards our ideas, towards the becoming of ourselves, we honor ourselves more and more and more. And we start to take a road we didn't know we would take. We start to move forward in a way we didn't think we would move forward. And it brings us then to the Queen of Pentacles. It brings us to prosperity and abundance and success and bounty. It brings us to stepping into ourselves and not being afraid. It says here growth, because we grow into the power of who we are. We grow into power in and of itself without thinking, wow, this isn't for me. Or, oh my gosh, who thought I could ever do this? That's why, again, we have to be mindful of not getting in our own way during this moon. Because we have the brilliant ability to embrace the sensuality, to embrace the spiritual, to embrace the profound beauty of this world and say, this is what I'm building within me. This is what I'm building. I build universes within myself. I follow the stars and I'm guided by my dreams. And this is a time where we can say that and absolutely mean it. Absolutely be inspired and driven and focused by it. And then it brings us to the Eight of Pentacles. It brings us to our hard work paying off. It brings us to determination and to becoming more skilled and more skilled until we almost feel as if we've mastered something. We almost feel as if we've become master craftsmen. And this becomes a time where we look at the nuances of how we have evolved. We look at the ways we once handled situations and the way we handle situations now. We look at our dreams and our insights and our integrity and our focus, and we say, I'm building something here that is astounding and that is powerful. And as we build this, we call upon ourselves. As we build this, people start seeing us as more, right? More than they expected, more than they thought, more than we expected. And it moves us then to the moon, to seeing what the moon has to say for us during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, so at our root, we have self-love, a personal issue reaches resolution, because we are becoming aligned with ourselves. We're opening ourselves up to self-love and to beauty and to acceptance. We have darkness. Your commitment is being tested. Your commitment is being tested by the quiet that is manifesting within us, by the darkness of the night, and the facing of the moon. The way the moon changes her face, the way the moon moves forward. Our commitment is being tested to our dreams within the shadows. Our lunar emotional self is balance. A time to heal. Through this balance coming forward through temperance, through this balance coming forward through us embracing our own, powerful energy in our voice, in our breath, in our, connection with the earth. It's a time to heal. It's a time to take away the pain that has held us back. It moves us to change. Your dreams need a practical plan, and this is the full moon in Taurus. Everything changes, Taurus, because here your dreams have a practical plan, because here you're rooting yourself once again, just as you've done with the Queen of Pentacles, with the prosperity, with the abundance that is the essence of yourself. And as we do this, we claim our insights and our ideas more and more and more. It moves us to self-love. Is how a personal issue reaches resolution, because we start to see our own worth, our own value, our own connection. Darkness. Your commitment is being tested. It's like, look at things quietly, openly, and honestly. Your commitment is being tested because it feels overwhelming. It feels never ending. But here the commitment is being tested because there is that powerful connection. There is that strength that says, even in the darkness, I'm seeing my path. I'm seeing my beauty. I'm seeing my brilliance. It moves us to balance. Balance the negative and the positive, right? And it brings us to a time for healing. As we find this balance that the moon brings, as we find this balance within ourselves, it is time to heal. It is time to take the harmony of our hearts. It's time to balance our hearts and our minds, our thoughts and our emotions, and find the healing that drives us forward. As we do so, we start to change. We start to change because there's prosperity that we're calling forward. We start to change because there's bounty that is a part of us. We start to change because we embrace the vibration of success. And we say, this is me. The vibration of success is not being, a multimillionaire. The vibration of success is saying, these are my talents. This is what I love. And this is how I'm moving myself forward. Even if that this is my talent and this is what I love, it's not our 9-to-5 job. It's our side hobby. It's, gardening. It's, going on walks or whatever. It brings the change. And we start to see this moon moves us. And what's really interesting is we kind of move the power of this moon too. And your dreams need a practical plan. This is a time with the 8 of Pentacles to look at your success, your prosperity, what you have built, your talents. Even if you're going to say, Dane, I don't have any. It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you definitely do. And now they need a practical plan. Now you need to plant the seeds and watch them grow. Our subconscious Luna message is patience. The answers you need are coming. We want this all yesterday because why? We're human and that's how we want things. But patience. Your answers are coming. Patience. Embrace your voice. Embrace the goddess of air. Embrace the words that you are taking in. Embrace the web that you are weaving. Embrace the story, the places in between. That's also it. Oh, goodness. That's also where the darkness comes, because it's the space between words. It's the silence. It's what people overlook and think, oh, well, that's not anything. And you're going to be like, no, but that's where everything lies. And so that's going to be a really powerful driving factor for you during this time, Taurus. Oh, goodness. Sorry. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is the inner child. Now, what I love to do with the inner child is the exercise of us opening up our arms. This is embracing the heart chakra, opening up our arms to the child we once were. Not the child when everything was going right and we were on top of the world, the best birthday party or whatever, but the time where things were going wrong, where it was scary and we felt alone. And this is a time where we open up our hearts and our souls to that passion, to that hurt, to that pain. And we tell that child, I'm here for you, and I will always be here for you. We open our arms to that child, and that child runs into our arms. And we say, I love you, and I will always love you. You know, it doesn't have to simply be our inner child that we do this to. You know, if we've been through a really hard time in our teens or in our 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, we can still do the same thing to that person and say, I love you. I love you. I listen to you. I respect you. It has been a hard road, harder than you've deserved. Yes. But I will always be here with you, and I will never abandon you or give up on you. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Lord. This is Aries energy. This is being too rigid. We have to be mindful to embrace flexibility. We have to be mindful to move and ebb and flow with this time, with what we are creating, with what we want, with what we desire from ourselves. We are also going to be very drawn to people who have that rigidity to them. This is the plan. This is the schedule. This is what we're sticking to. Nothing shall change. And it's like, okay, that's intense. And we need to be a little bit more like a river running through the earth. It carves the earth. The earth moves with it. We need to be like that. Our subconscious rooted message is the Lovers. Don't be fooled by what you want to see. Here we have the woman luring the man in. And underneath, though up on top she's beautiful, underneath she's a skeleton. And there's a skull. This isn't her first. She's a siren. And so here, what we have to be mindful of is that we are following what we love, not what just seems the most alluring, not what just seems the almost too good to be true. That is saying all the right words and doing all the right things to pull us forward. Now, with the Lovers, we embrace our hearts, we embrace our passions, we embrace what we desire, we embrace what we love, and we start to fall in love with the world again. Instead of falling in love with what we think we're supposed to fall in love with. And that's not really falling in love at all. It moves us then to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Six of Air. It's time to embrace change. We focus on the voice once again. We focus on our way forward. We embrace the air within our lungs. We embrace the journey. We embrace the way that we need to move forward and the diving deep into emotions. As we do so, our subconscious emotional self brings us the Knight of Swords. This is the hero knight. You know, this is the white knight that charges in and, slays the demons. It runs up the tower and awakens that part within them that was sleeping, that was slumbering, awakens the sleeping princess. And so here with the King of Swords, that's what we're embracing. Subconsciously, our hearts and our minds want to come together. Our heart and our mind wants us to move forward in determination, in focus, in insight, in ideas, in becoming. And it says there's more here than you will ever know. Embrace it. Embrace the cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. Embrace what you desire. Don't be too rash about things, because we can be when the Knight of Swords comes in. You'll be like, I just need to act. Something needs to change. Now go. Kind of like ready, set, go. Just do it. We have to be a little bit mindful, but also astoundingly courageous. Think things through, but be mindful, again, of falling down that rabbit hole. As we embrace our thoughts, we embrace our voice and our power and ourself. And as I was describing the acceleration of the Knight of Swords and how I stumbled, right? That's going to be how we feel. It's like, oh my gosh, I want to get there so quickly. And yet we're going to see it at those moments when we don't pull ourselves back, we tend to stumble a bit. We tend to, need to center ourselves again. Our subconscious public self is the Ace of Cups, and that's emotions. That's God, Source, Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, cleansing away our hurts, our pains, our disappointments, our angers, our upsets, our devastations. The cups come in. And what we're seeing here is a healing, is a beauty, is a connection, is a washing away of the hurt that has held us back, the doubts that have kept us from being who we want to be. And we're seeing ourselves become more and more healed and more aligned with the journey of discovery, with the power of ourselves, with the passion that we want, and the beauty that leads us forward. All right. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the beauty of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus, and may you have a blessed moon.